Now Texas, big bad Texas, coming off a playoff performance, comes in. Mike Elko, now the head coach at Texas A&M. He's a first-year guy. He wasn't the glitz glamour of Jimbo Fisher, but he's got a lot of substance. And so because we're talking about the rivalry between A&M and Texas, I think Texas A&M with talent could be a team that we're looking at kind of sideways, middle of the season, of having a really, really good first year under a really, really good football coach.
I agree. And I know you've been around Elko a lot, and he's been quiet because there's just been so much conversation about the other Texas school. But A&M still has some players. I mean, they don't have everyone from 2 years ago and that Jimbo Fisher class, but they have a few, and I think they'll be a factor. I'll try to avoid all the cliches that I hear downstairs where I am ad nauseum. But I mean, there's like everybody's got a game or two that if you can turn that game, you're in really good shape. And A&M has a lot of winnable games against middle of the road SEC schools. And if they do, then that game against Texas on Thanksgiving weekend is going to be incredibly significant for more than just beating Texas.
Sometimes programs look at the sizzle of a hire, right? They look at how shiny the toy is and look who we got. Otherwise, it's probably safe sometimes just to hire substance, hire a good football coach. And so I think that's where the Elko hire is going to go. And I think A&M down the road is going to be one of these teams that we're talking about with Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas, that are going to be these teams that are going to find themselves among the upper echelon of the SEC because they should have resources.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go to A&M, Matt, I just don't understand why they're so inconsistent because, I mean, they are not Texas, but nobody is in terms of the money and the right. But yeah, they're not far behind Texas when it comes to money. I mean, they're in the same zip code, but they have everything, and they've got one of the most unique fan bases. The tradition, it's baffling to me, except that they went all in on the wrong guy. They got a guy who, by the time Jimbo Fisher made it to College Station, he was damaged goods, and he took the check, and that's really about it.
He's like a live golfer. Jimbo is to college football. Live.
I agree.
He took the check, and then you didn't hear much from him after that. No offense, Bryce DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. That's another podcast here and there. Right, Oklahoma. Just because they're a newcomer, I want to get to them. Year 2 under Brent Venables, much better than year 1. I know a lot of people question whether Brent Venables could be a quality head coach. Lebby goes to Mississippi State. He's the new head coach down there. He's got to bring in a new offensive coordinator. Dylan Gabriel transfers to Oregon, but they got a really young, talented quarterback they love. That was a true freshman a year ago. Here's where I am with Oklahoma, Paul. Oklahoma has the tradition and the ability to be a problem in the SEC. Year 1, I don't know that that's going to be the case.
No, I don't think they are going to be this year, but they are certainly going to be in the future. I can't tell you enough about that program in terms of how they run that operation, what they believe, and I think Joe Castiglione, the highly regarded AD out there, he said, you know what, I'm not going to get caught up in a circus game of, is Brent Venables going to be the right coach or not? I'm going to go ahead and extend him right now. And if I take the heat later on, who cares? I mean, he's got the credibility, he's got the capital. He's not going to be there forever. And so I think he just gambled. And I like Venables. I mean, I know we'll get to the subject in a few minutes, but look at Clemson without Brent Venables. I mean, that program has taken a big hit. It may have taken one anyway, but he was one of the most important coordinators to a big time program I've seen in a while.
Give me something I can feel.